we are in the unlocking stage to returning back to the new normal form, which would be quite challenging as well in the terms of health, wealth, and competition as well. So we should make ourselves strengthen to face the current world after this pandemic, maybe. Yes. So through this week, I hope you would have seen you would have heard more of the terms related to AR, VR. Yes, yes. Yeah, we could make the session more interesting, interactive. I think it is the last session for you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. The last session.
Yeah. Okay. You would have seen more about. I think by this time you would have understood the how AR and VR evolved and how it's been used in various domains. I hope so, but I will, in my perception, okay, in my perception and whatever I have explored, I'll share my knowledge and experience with you. Um, if you're already familiar with, that's okay. You could upgrade it. Fine. Yes. Today's agenda for my discussion will be like I'll be sharing about a few glimpse of natural computing interface, natural interface, that is NUI computing, and since it is a major part in the development of AR and VR, and we'll be discussing about AR and VR in terms of gamification. Okay, and we'll have the term what is gamification. Have anyone heard the term gamification before? Have you used what? Are you used the term gamification or applied somewhere? Anyone? Okay, if not, that's fine. We'll have a glance of it. Okay, and then we'll also discuss a few applications, that is gamified systems that has been developed with a student team, student research team in various application domains. Yes, that would be our agenda for today. Fine. Okay, without making much delay, I'll just share my screen and we'll start the session. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Um, have you come across this word NUI computing anywhere before? NUI. We all know about GUI, right? Guy computing. It's nothing but graphical user interface. Yes. NUI. Any idea about that? Okay, fine. So we have different kinds of computing interfaces. That is, the interface is nothing but through which we interact with the system, right? So the computing interfaces, initially we started with command line interface, then moved on to graphical user interface, and then with natural user interface, which is now called as NUI, right? A command line interface is a very powerful computing interface where we interact with the system through commands, right? It's by using crisp commands. Even now, we operate and control our systems through powerful commands like Perl, Python, Ruby. It's a widely used computing interfaces using command line. Okay. Then comes the graphical interface, which made our life easier, right? So we are very much comfortable in using Windows OS rather than the Linux, right? Because Linux is mostly controlled by CLI, whereas the guy, it's an introduction of Windows and Microsoft. So we got this guy kind of interface where we can interact with the systems using pointers, pointing devices, desktop, Windows, and Windows, right? And it made our life more comfortable. So now the trending technology is a natural user interface where it allows the systems to interact with the, which allows the user to interact with the system using the normal gestures. That is, human body can interact with the system through the intuitive actions, like you have human touch, gestures, sensors, thoughts, and speech. Everything can interact with the hardware device. So that's made possible using this natural user interface, and it's a specialized form of graphical user interface. So anyway, computing, we have major classification like touch computing, surface computing, gesture computing, and brain computing. So touch computing, we know that, right? So we make use of this touch computing in our day-to-day life. So what is that? It's a mobile phone or tablets or everything, where the touch, by touching we are interacting with the systems. So that is made possible with the help of um, electrical electrical possibility and also optical touch technologies. So it is like when we touch the panel, okay, electric, that is carrying the electric charge, so our signal is got recorded and it is sent to the computer program, and our computer programs, software programs, will initiate a response to the touch event. And if it uses optical touch technology, then our touch is responded through the lights which scatter, and it is sensed by the system, and again a software program will give the output, okay, based upon our touch event. So this is becoming very common. It's a natural user interface where a human touch can can initiate or trigger an event, right? So it is mostly used in mobile devices now. So surface computing, have you heard of this surface computing anywhere? See, normally touch computing, everywhere we are going to interact with the systems using our touch only. But the surface computing, how it differs is that usually touch computing will work on the flat surfaces, whereas we call the surface computing where you can interact with the systems which is not flat. Okay, you can interact with a non-flat three-dimensional objects like spherical, cylindrical, and parabolic surfaces. So Microsoft Research is making a lot of research in 3D surface computing that is dealing with 3D input data. Okay, so where it allows users to interact with the 3D objects using touch. Next comes gesture computing. Gesture is nothing but the normal human body movements. It's called as a gesture computing. So with the help of hands, legs, eye movement, facial expressions, speech expressions, and our body itself will become a input to the computer. Okay, that is the gesture computing. Okay, and it has now become a base for VR and AR. Okay, so this gesture computing. So brain computing, so you would have heard this term, right? So it is a direct neural interface or brain machine interface, or it is also called as brain computer interface (BCI). So where the computer, our brain signals are converted into alpha, beta, gamma rays. It's converted into the input to the system, and based upon the input, the system responds. Yes. So this is useful mostly in the medical applications and also game playing applications where our neural signals are read, and it has been converted to the thought process to initiate an operations. Like so this is brain computing is one of the research field where most of them are getting explored now, um, to make a system to work based upon our thought. Okay, so this is it's one of the natural user interface. So the technology is using natural user interface. It's a VR and AR. You would have heard about virtual reality. Virtual reality, it's nothing but a simulated 3D environment, right? So where the user is interacting and getting the experience through the human body movements like gestures and sight and sound senses, right? The person himself become uh, a part of it, and he can interact with the system with the and perform some actions and manipulate the objects. Using this virtual reality, he can explore the territory which cannot be explored uh, in the real world. Okay, he can go to the imaginary world and work with the environment. So that is possible through virtual reality. So this is a history about it. You would have seen this. Okay, in 1950s, it has been started for flight simulators, and it has given its growth to the research program. And also in 1988, it has begun to commercialize, and 1991, it was given for commercial entertainment virtual reality systems. And now by 2010, it is being used, explored by common people, but it has not become so common, but by 2025, it is expected to become more common among the public. Okay, as we are using our mobile phones, maybe VR and AR would become more popular and more common by 2025. We are expecting. So this VR system, it's divided into non-immersive and immersive. So non-immersive, where just the human or user interacts with the systems with just a mouse and keyboard control, and he's not completely immersed into the VR environment, but he will interact as a what is that? He will interact with the it's a desktop based VR. Okay, so he can interact with the objects, but not fully immersed into the system. So that is non immersive VR. Whereas in immersive VR, the human itself will become a part of the environment. He will get completely immersed into the environment, and he can actually can interact with the all the virtual objects that is available in the environment. But this is possible only with the help of some higher end devices like head mounted display, which allows VR users to get immersed into the environment, right? So you would have heard about head mounted displays, right? Can anyone tell what are the head mounted displays you have viewed so far in this week? Yes, yes, please. Can anyone give me the answer? Head mounted displays that helps to the user to immerse into the environment. So far you have seen during this week time? Yes.
Participants can answer.
Um, have you got my question? I am just asking about, have you come across any head mounted displays, HMD devices through this course to explore the immersive VR environment? Any HMD displays? Any HMD device?
Last session, Validevi ma'am discussed about the HMT devices. That's all.
Okay, fine. That's
Okay.
okay. Um, okay. So this kind of examples which I am showing here, you could see it's a gaming environment where the user will act as an avatar. Okay, he will be outside. He will not get immersed into the world, but he will act as an avatar in the environment. Just by using a mouse and a keyboard, he can act as an avatar in the provided environment, and he can interact with objects. So this is a non-immersive VR example. Okay. So whereas, see, if you see this immersive VR cave, it is like a cave automated virtual environment where when the user gets into this cave, he will get as a part of it. Okay, he will see this world as a new environment, and he can interact and he can move around. He can explore the world as in a 360-degree. Okay, so this is it's like a cave environment. Here the user may not need that HMD devices, but he will the environment itself will provide a VR experience. Okay, this is a cave type of virtual environment. But without this, but this implementing with the VR with all these cave environment, it's quite expensive. Okay, so in order to make it more handy and for to the public, So they have developed some head mounted displays. It is like Oculus Rift, okay? Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. HTC company have provided Vive, okay? So it is nothing but head mounted, the display, it's nothing a headset, okay? With a VR capability, and it is also quite costlier, which will come around $300, and in our country it's coming around 75,000 and above. Okay. But using this head mounted, just using this head mounted display, it will also have some joysticks to interact with the objects. Okay. Using this head mounted display, it is possible for the human users to interact, completely immerse into the environment, and he can um, explore that environment. Okay, so it is an um, alternative that has been offered. Okay, but this is quite costlier. This is quite costlier. But as a in terms of companies, or in terms of education environment, okay, this could be offered. Um, okay, this Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. Okay. Before seeing these challenges, okay, I'll just give you augmented reality. So we know this augmented reality. It's the other technology that is not completely different from VR, but it is quite different from VR in terms of how we interact and how the world looks around. Okay, so in VR environment, it is completely 3D simulated environment where human gets immersed using high cost HMD devices or low cost devices, and he is able to interact with the devices. Whereas in AR, there is an augmented reality. Here what happens is that real the the virtual objects are augmented in the computer generated 3D environments. Okay. In the real world environment, the virtual objects are augmented, where the human can interact with the object using NUI interfaces. Okay. Here, it is not needed to have a higher end systems um, so to see the virtual objects. Okay. So with the normal mobile phones and AR glasses, it is possible to explore the AR world. Okay, so that is a difference. And AR is now trending in most of the application domains. So we'll be seeing that. Okay, so it is mostly in terms of marketing and education. AR is showing its uh, growth in a numerous way. So we have virtual reality, augmented reality, and we have mixed reality, which is a mix of both virtual and augmented reality. Okay, so it's a virtual reality; it's completely digital environment, whereas augmented reality is a real world with digital information overlay. And mixed reality, it's a combination of both real and the virtual, where the interaction and manipulation will happen with both physical and virtual environment. So so this is about a basic introduction about NUI computing. I hope you have got some idea. Now we'll move on to gamification concept. Okay. Okay. So gamification is nothing but it's a technique that is applying artificial intelligence, which is to create or stimulate an activity in any application domain using the gameplay technique. Okay, so it can be any application domain. We can involve this gamification. Okay, it's a smarter way uh, to motivate participation and engagement in a non-gaming context. Okay, even with a non-gaming context. So this gaming is always applied to the children or something like that, right? But we are trying to apply the gaming concept. Okay, gaming mechanics in the non-gaming context. So that is called as gamification. Okay, with an application of this game mechanics into the non-gaming context, what happens is that it gets it motivates a participation, engagement with the entertainment, and the user gets immersed into the environment, and he will get more engaged into the environment and work on it. Fine. Okay. So why it is considered more important is that it wherever we apply gaming technique, okay, it develops our motor and cognitive functionality, right? And this VR and AR, it supports gamified approach where the user can, where we can create some applications, gamification application related to the application domain, so that the user can interact with the environment in a more comfort manner. Fine. And this gamification will provide multisensory feedback with diverse action levels to explore the real world environment virtually. Okay, and it is a tool. It will become a very powerful tool to encourage users to stick to the program of concern, even if it is, if the program, if the environment which is not interesting, we can make it interesting through this gamified systems, right? Okay. And this gamified simulation approach is becoming common in almost every field. Okay, in aerospace, defense, consumer electronics, industries, medical and commercial markets, and we'll see how it is being explored. Right. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you a small video just to understand what is gamification. Are you able to hear?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is about gamification. I'll just show you a few things. Okay. Some gamification examples so that you will get more understanding on that. See, it is not only involving computer programs to gamify things. Okay, it is in any application domain, whichever gaming concept is applied, then it is called as a gamification. It is not only applying computer programs. You have to understand that. Okay, I will show you a few examples of it. Okay.
Ma'am, the audio is not coming.
Audio வரலைங்களா?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
பட் இதுக்கு முன்னாடி போட்டதுக்கு வந்ததுல
No, ma'am.
வரலையா?
No, வரல ma'am. Only video மட்டும் தான் play ஆச்சு.
ஓ அப்படியா?
Yes,
ஒரு
ma'am.
நிமிஷம். ஆடியோ இன்க்ளூட் பண்றதுக்கு ஏதாவது செட்டிங்ஸ் பண்ணணுமா? ம். One sec, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Should I set something? Should I make some settings to include computer audio? எல்லா செட்டிங்ஸும் ஆன்ல தான் இருக்கு.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
No
If
problem. Okay.
okay, if the audio is not coming, then it's not good to play videos. Okay, sir, that's fine. But I'll just show you a few example. You just have a look on it
Okay.
using this video. I'll explain, sir. Hmm. So this kind of thing, see, the shopping cart with the wheeler, shopping cart with the wheeler, it makes the user motivate to make a shopping, right? So this is one kind of uh, gamification that is being applied. Okay, okay. Let me show you. So let me show you another example. So this is like crushing bottles, okay? So without putting bottles in a proper place, if
Ma'am,
the
your
user,
screen is not visible, ma'am.
okay, fine. Okay. So are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. So this is one kind of gamification that is applied to the shopping cart. The wheeler is attached to the gaming, which motivates a user to get around the shop, right? So this is a kind of gamification that has been applied. Mm. So the other example I will show you. So it is crushing the bottle in the proper dustbin. Okay, so it will give you some points, and also based upon this point, you will get a coin, and you can use that later. This is a dustbin which is fixed with a beep sound. Okay, when someone puts some garbage into the dustbin, it will give you the beep sound. So in order to hear the beep sound, the people used to play with it. Okay, so all the dust being properly put into the dustbin using this gamification technique. He's looking at the beep sound and putting all the dust into that. Okay. And this is one another gamification technique that has been applied for the steps. Okay, so it is a musical steps. Okay, instead of people using the elevator, it has been completely the user starts moving into the steps. Okay, this steps will create music when he moves on the steps. So this is one kind of gamification that motivated the users to use the steps rather than the elevator. See, 66% more people than normal chose the steps to travel. And this is like a reward program where if you travel with a reduced speed at that particular area, you will get the reward lottery to your home. So that's reduction in speed of 22% happen using this kind of reward gamification. So this is a kind of gameplay to encourage users to use the screen. Okay, and finally we have technology with the VR, augmented reality. It is being applied in a restaurant. Okay, pizza shop. So it's a kind of touch and surface computing. Okay, see during the wait time of while our pizza is getting prepared, the users are given the opportunity to play with this. So now users will prefer this restaurant rather than the other restaurants, right? So this is a kind of gamification that's been provided with the AR technology. Yes. So hope you have got some idea about what is gamification now. Yes. Now I will move on to what are games before going to AR VR gamification techniques. So you know what is game, right? So how are the games are differing from normal movies? Yes, games are an engaging activities which are constrained with a set of rules. So whereas when we watch movies, it is just like we'll have our attention over it. Okay, it is not there is no engaging activity in that. Okay, just watching a movie. But whereas the games requires the user's full attention and engagements, and it makes our environment more competitive, right? So it is either we can win or lose a game. Yes. Okay. So the gaming design principles like feedback, rewards, uh, achieving the goal, difficulty level, challenge. Okay. These are all the essential parts that can be used for gamifying our product or service. Okay. So these are the gaming design principles that is to be embedded with our applications to make our product or service gamified. Okay. So gaming, it involves a lot of objects. It's called as a game objects, which is it can be a 2D or 3D modeled objects. It is called as assets in gaming, right? And what are these objects? It's nothing but in the terms of computer, these objects are it's a form of triangles. Yes, if we know graphics, we know more about that. It is the more triangles, it's a better graphics. Okay, so every object or a game object is made of uh, triangle. Okay, more number of triangles will be more perfect object we get. So this is an example of that. Okay, it's developing an object with 60,000 triangle. It gives a picture. So once the game objects are ready, next we will explore creating our simulation screen, right? Scene, which should be 360-degree content creation. So look at this scene, okay? So what you could see in the screen, can anyone answer? So it is a scene, it is a 3D scene, okay? So what are all the things you could explore in that scene? And is this scene looking real? What makes to this scene looks real? Can anyone give me the answer? It's a computer generated scene, but it is giving more reality, right? So what makes the scene to look real? Yes, just
Trees,
give me a
mountains,
just give me, yeah, okay, trees, mountain.
one
So tree,
person.
person. So trees, mountains, person. Yes, all these things which you are telling are the assets of this scene. Okay, it's an object of this scene. Okay, game object, or it can be a scene object. Okay, it's assets of the screen. So these are all. So only with this object can the screen be real. ஸோ ஒரு மரம் இருக்கு, மவுண்டன் இருக்கு, ஒரு பர்சன் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, நம்ம இத மூணுத்தையும் நம்ம ஃபிட் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா போதுமா? ஸ்க்ரீன் வந்து ரொம்ப ரியல் ஆயிடுமா? ஸோ வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ்? வாட் மேக்ஸ் தி ஸ்க்ரீன் லுக்ஸ் மோர் ரியல்? டு ஆல் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் தமிழ்? எவ்ரி ஒன் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட்ஸ் தமிழ்னு நான் கொஞ்சம் தமிழ்லயும் பேசிக்கிறேன். எஸ், ஆர் யூ ஆல் கம்ஃபர்டபுள் வித் தமிழ் ஆஸ் வெல்?
It's fine.
Okay. Yes, okay. Fine. So what else you could see to make the scene more real? What is happening in the scene? Or what? So there is a mountain, there is a tree, there is a person. So only with these objects, this scene is not real. Do you agree with that?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else you can see in this object, in the scene, that makes it more real? Okay. It's a effect, right? You are seeing some effects in the scene. What is that effects called as? It's a graphic effects, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, have you heard of GFX? GFX is nothing but a graphic effects. It's called as GFX. And only when you apply a GFX into a scene, it becomes more real. So now can you tell me what are the effects you are seeing in the screen now? Some effects, if possible. You could figure out some effects. Can you see the shadow effect? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see a light effect?
Mm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any scene, okay, whenever we create a simulation screen, only integrating the object into the screen will not make it real. Okay, so we are speaking about the reality. So in order to make any scene real, in order to create a simulated environment looks exactly same as the reality, then we have to embed more graphical effects into a scene. So I'll just give you a few of the graphical effects which has to be embedded. It's bloom effect, depth of field. Okay, depth of field is nothing but blurring everything after a certain distance from a player. I'll show you an example. And anti-aliasing, it's nothing but smoothing a jagged surface. Ambient occlusion, it's related to shading and rendering. Okay, then lightning, shadows. Then there are many more graphical effects like reflections, particles, and so on. Okay, so all this makes your scene looks more real after integrating the assets into the scene. Okay, so it is nothing like game designing, gamification using AR, VR is creating the simulation environment with reality. It's more important before we start the interfacing things. Okay. Other things that has to be embedded in, should be like artificial intelligence, animations, and states, gaming states or application states, which we are trying to. Then more important is that physics. Okay, physics, camera, user interface, input, audio, feedback, and so on. Okay. So integrating, even if you want to create a simple gamification application using AR or VR, it involves all these techniques to be embedded. Only then you can come with a gamified application. So these are the effects. So this is a bloom effect. Okay. So blooming the light or something like that. Depth of field is to make it more real. If a person is far away from a certain distance, then it has to be blurred. Okay, so that kind of effect it's called as depth of field, DOF, and this is anti-aliasing, but is smoothing the jagged surface. So here the thing is everything we are creating, right? Environment is created by us, so we have to fine tune the environment with all these graphical effects. That's right. And this is called as anti-occlusion, making more sharpening or our render. Then providing a proper light effects. Only if you provide a proper light effect, then your VR scene will become more real. The shadows, the size of the shadow should be also considered, taken into account. Okay. So when we create a horror scenes in our applications or gaming, so it has to be added with some kind of shadowing effect. Only then it will create more horror kind of thing, right? So all these effects, okay, the integration of all these effects will happen every 60 times per second. So that's called as frames per second, FPS. Okay, you will come across this term when you try to create and gaming applications, right? Okay, it is frames per second. It is not like a static one. It's a dynamic thing which will keep on moving. Okay, so frames per second, it's by default frame per second is 60. The value should be 60. If it is more or less value, then it will create a nausea kind of effect. Okay, in the 3D environment. So if you can't maintain the proper FPS, that is frames per second, then it will lead to a visual artifacts or tearing of your screen. And also it is very hard to render all the graphical effects. And it will also disinterest the user and will cause the strain to the eyes. Okay, it is very important to maintain a proper frame per second for your VR or AR application. Okay. So far, we are seeing about uh, something about gaming, right? So we'll see how this is working in a mobile phones or computers at the background. Okay, let's take a case study of using our application in a mobile phone. So we have different apps in our phone, right? So it is all like a simple applications, whereas what apps, if you are using some applications like um, okay, Zomato, or it can be what is that, Flipkart, whatever it is. Okay, when you click on that app, okay, it is a 2D app, and it is not behaving in terms of FPS, frames per second. It's not acting on these kind of applications. Okay, it is just a service that will run at the background, and whenever you prompt something, if you are clicking on something, it will react based upon that. Yes, so that is what happening in the other applications we are working on. So whenever we click on the application, it gives to the Android operating systems, and this will be put into the queue, and it will get processed, and you will get the result. Okay, this is happening in the ordinary applications which we are using in our mobile phones. Whereas the games are not like that. Okay, it is like a continuous one. When you start a game like Temple Run or Mario or whatever it is, so whenever you start the game, it will start running as a loop at the background. Okay, so only for that reason we need a higher end mobile phones with higher GB. Yes, the RAM. Sorry, to run higher end games. So in order to play games, you need, otherwise your phone will get stuck, right? So in order to run your games in your phone, it will run continuously at the background. Though it is developed for fun or whatever reason it is, but it will take your memory or it will take your processor at the background. So it will keep on updating the game. It is called as a game loop. Okay, so when you play a game, so this is what is happening. The game loop will be running at the running at the processor level. So if your system is not enough capable of um, processing this game loop, then it will your phone will become stuck. So this is the background behind the game applications that is being run in your system or mobile phone. So VR experience with insufficient frame rate and high latency could cause nausea or motion sickness. So have anyone experienced this? So now I think everyone have experienced this VR, right? So virtual reality, it is now it's become common like 3D movies, 70 theaters, it's available, right? So you would have experienced the VR. Most of them here would experience VR, right? Yes, I hope so. So, have you experienced the nausea kind of effect, or uh, you'll at least have what is that? Motion sickness when you are watching the VR movie or something VR scene, when where you get immersed into the environment. Someone will vomit or will fall sick. Yes, that is all will happen. So this is all due to insufficient frame rate or it is not matching with the latency of the user. So that is the thing. And research show that VR applications require the latency between any head movement and displaying the corresponding visual feedback. It should be less than 25 milliseconds. Okay. So this is a research output. Okay. So what we can experience through VR, so it is we can experience VR using the head-mounted display. I'll just show you an Google Cardboard. Okay, can you see me? Yes. So have you seen this device before? So this is a VR box. Yes. This VR box is used to explore the VR applications that is developed for mobile. So if you have your VR application um, VR mobile application in your mobile, then you could uh, get immersed into the VR environment using this VR box, which is a low cost VR box, which is available from 350 rupees onwards. Okay, here you have the facility to put your phone here and okay, and you have to start your VR application, then put your phone here, mobile phone here, and just mount your display over your head. And now you can experience the VR. Okay, so this is a VR box. So if it is offline training, I would have shown you this. You would have experienced, but since it is online, so I'm just telling you. Please, if you find an opportunity to explore, then you please explore that. Okay, fine. And your mobile, all your mobile phones support VR applications. Um, I think it is after Android version. Most of your Android versions now will support VR applications and VR movies. Okay, so if you want to have a VR experience, and if you do not have any chance to visit see 3D or 70 theaters, then you can just buy this device. It's just 350 to 450 rupees, and you can explore VR experience using this device. Okay, and this device also comes with joysticks where you can develop applications to interact with applications. You can make use of this as well. Okay, okay. Okay. So now I'll just tell you. So, what makes this VR box or head-mounted displays that makes, I mean, that makes you immerse into the VR world. So, it is with the help of the lenses, okay, which is called as a uh, depth, um, depth sensor, okay. So, that is a lens which makes you to immerse into the environment, okay. So immersion requires a large field of view. So the thing is, so you are going to get into the immersive world, right? So it is a 3D generated environment. As a whole, in the computer, it will be like a 2D environment which you create, which have the 360-degree, um, which have the 360-degree capability, right? To explore the world, right? So now, can you see my screen? Yeah. So now the thing is, when you wear the head-mounted display and view the screen, your field of view should be larger, right? So, uh, so when you wear the screen, right, a VR device, what happens is that the distance between your eye and lens will become smaller, right? Will become smaller, but the display area, whichever seen through the lens, will be larger. So how is that possible? It's compensated with a lens and a software program that is being adopted. Okay, so the large curved spherical display lens can be used, but it is very expensive. How this is possible with the low cost devices using a software technique called as barrel distortion. Okay, so it is like, what is barrel distortion? It's nothing but whenever we see things through our lens, right? So it will get the object will get a spherical distortion. Okay. So what we'll do is using a technique called as barrel distortion. It's a software technique in graphics. You will design the lens with the this shape. Okay, all your lens will be in kind of this shape. Okay, so so when you look at the object, it will give you the full uh, depth of field of view. Okay, the complete entire surface in the 360 degree. Okay, so this is called as barrel distortion and the barrel lens design. So this is what you could see in the VR scene, right? So you will have two lenses. You will have two lenses, and it will create a 3D view of the image which you are seeing. And when you are experiencing VR, you will fully, completely immersed in the environment. So this happens. Even you would fall, okay, without knowing. So you should be very careful enough while using VR devices. Yeah. So as of now, so we are having the VR application development, and it is very limited space, right? We can get immersed into the environment. We can have control over the objects using motion controllers. We can track. There is an object device called a sleep motion controller that tracks our fingers, where we can develop applications which involves only the hand movements. Okay, this sleep motion controller. But the thing is, VR applications will cause nausea or motion sickness if proper FPS is not maintained. So it is again a research problem where we have to look at. Okay. Yes. Moving to augmented reality, as I said before, it is blending of virtual objects into the real-time environment, where we can interact with the motion tracking technologies. We can interact with the objects using motion tracking technologies. Okay. So as we develop software, right? So the gamification applications, that is developing AR, VR application, it needs kind of steps to be followed. It is not just developing or implementing games just like that. Okay, it needs a very big steps to be followed in order to create good gamification application. So here the term, the software software engineering, the steps like requirement specification, designing, developing, testing, and deploying and maintenance, right? So the same steps here, it will be called in terms of requirement gathering, will be called in terms of concept art, because the art, the whatever concept that's given as a requirement will be given as a art for in order to get clarified. So what is the requirement, right? So based upon that, the designing happens. It is nothing but building or animating a 2D and 3D models. It's asset creation and scene creations. So that is called as a designing phase. Okay. So based upon the concept art, okay, whatever the assets required, everything will be fixed from the requirements gathering through concept art, and in the designing phase, building an animation of 2D and 3D asset models will be done, and the screen creations will be done. And one day the scenes creations is not enough, right? We need to make a programming interfaces so that the interaction between the scenes happens, where the user is allowed to interact with the screen, where the gamification is, simulation is involved. So once the development is done using the programming interface introduction, then the system has to be tested. Then finally, it has to be deployed in the area where it needs. And this deployment is nothing but rendering the application for the real time and followed by maintenance. Yes. So this is a game engineering or gamification kind of thing. So it is explained through the gaming. So everywhere this user interaction is available. So user interaction provide the requirement will be provided, concept art will be created, and this concept art will be discussed with the user for confirmation. Then asset creation, scene creations will be done. All the GFS effects, it's applied to the scene creation and the asset creation. Okay, and it is not only that we create the assets, there are also certain libraries available, which is it is open source or it can be a owned one. Okay, you can also buy some assets if you are not ready to design some assets. You can also buy some assets, like if some trees, okay, trees, mountain, those assets will be readily available to use. It can be free one, or if you want more. I mean, customizing things like that, then you can go with the paid one. You can also import assets from the other existing libraries. Okay, and once the scenes are created, then you have to make a coding. That is, you have to create interface and interaction codings where it will involve gamification, AI technologies, and everything has to be involved. Okay, then you will create, finally, you will create simulation and rendering environment, and the integration of sensor has to be decided when you are when you are making the coding. So this is a kind of implementation, then goes with testing, then finally deployment at the user side. Fine. So this is a process to be followed in a gamification application. Okay, so it seems to be very what is that? uh, quite difficult, right? But what makes it very easier to develop these applications? Like we develop softwares, okay? There are few game engines that is available in the market, and also APIs available in the market, which makes it our job easier to integrate things and develop gamification applications. So these are some of the software engines like Unity, Unreal Engine. You have Cry Engine. Okay. So here you have free sources. Okay, it is open source for a limited version. It's not for a professional version. But if you want to give a try developing some gaming applications for, then you can go ahead with these Unity, Unreal. Okay, Cry Engine, and so on to develop your applications. And mostly used application is Unity and also Unreal Engine. Okay, we develop student projects using Unity and Unreal Engine. Yes. So this AR and VR, as I said, since it is gamification based, that is applying the gamification concept in terms of AR, VR in the non-gaming context. So education is a non-gaming context, or industry is a non-gaming context. but you can still develop a gamification environment through this VR and AR, which gives you better learning experience and learning environment. Okay, and it gives you more learning performance as well. So in industry, how it is used, it can be used to automate the safety training where the human cannot go in person for every training. You can create a simulation environment where the user gets first trained in the simulated environment, then he can be given the real-time environment. Okay, so it's a data visualization. Then virtual reality payments can be done. Okay, secure enhancement with the biometric improved it improves product marketing and sales. Okay, then customer support and service. So in all these areas you can give application based AR and VR based application. And in healthcare, this VR and AR is helpful in rehabilitation kind of things, and also to simulate a surgical environment where the users can train, the doctors can train themselves with the simulated environment to make the surgeries, and then use the real-time persons. Okay, so they do not raise any ethical issues when compared with other animals and living things. Okay, without making any ethical issues, you can experience your surgical surgeries with a simulated environment. This is about a few of the applications. Yes, now I'll give you some in a short, I'll give you some projects. I will show you some projects that has been developed by our student research team with my guidance on AR and VR. Okay, first we'll explore some applications. So, okay, so I said like gamification can be applied in the non-gaming context, right? So first we'll explore this fire and safety VR training. Okay, it is using the fire extinguisher. How gamification can be applied to for the fire and safety training simulation. So this is so when a fire happens at your office space or any industry space, okay, the user has to be given training to use the fire extinguisher. But it is not always possible. We are just seeing the fire extinguisher available everywhere, okay, but we are not given any training how to use it, right? So in the real life, we know there is a fire extinguisher available, but we don't know when a fire occurs. We don't know how to use that. So in order to give that training, so for even for a normal people, then we propose this idea of developing a simulation model. Okay, simulation model using a VR technique. So where a simulation of fire extinguisher assault is created in a office environment. Okay, and the user is given a training um, to explore the environment, and when the fire happens over there, how he is used to set off the fire. Okay, that is the environment, a simulation environment that has been created. So this involves steps like 3D modeling, so developing the assets and developing the scenes and so on. So this is a part of asset creation where I said like so we have the office environment, so the table, chairs, so all these things are asset creation. It will come under asset creation. So this is a fire extinguisher where this fire extinguisher is designed uh, in such a way that each and every part is removable and interactive. Okay, so during the design itself, we have to plan accordingly. If the object is static, then we need not worry about that. But if the object is going to be dynamic, where we need to interact with the object, then it has to be designed in such a way. Fine. Then after modeling the object, then we'll apply texture over it. So after applying the texture, it becomes more real. Then comes the environment. So once our assets are ready, then we'll go with environment design. Okay, so this is the environment where we are going to. So this is a simulated environment. Okay, so it's like nothing but if we are creating single asset, this can be copy paste. Okay, if we are creating one chair, then that could be copy paste to multiple chairs. So creating a scene should come from the reality, right? So if you want to create a particular scene, you can take a photography of a existing scene uh, which you want to have a reference. Then you can make use of that reference photography to develop your scene. Okay, and that should be more realistic with all the GFX effects. So this is a scene that is being created with the GFX, all the graphical effects. And it is one of the immersive application that is being developed. So we used uh, what is that? The head-mounted display that is being used is Oculus Rift. Okay, Oculus Rift, where the when the user wears the headset, he will get immersed into the environment to work on with the fire safety model. Okay, so I will just show how this application works. Okay, it is a small video that is showing the working of it. If you're not able to hear the video, that's audio, that's fine. I'm just showing you. So we have a joystick with the Oculus Rift where you can control the objects in the 3D environment. Okay. So this application is developed initially with a training phase. Okay, where the user will be given some training to explore the environment and set off the fire. Okay. There are so the user is now interacting with the object. Okay. So there are four steps like to set off the fire. Okay, so he is now setting off the fire using the fire extinguisher. So once the training phase is over, once you are well trained, then you can go into the simulation environment, that is the office environment. So you can move around your environment. Once you wear that head mounted display, you will get into this environment. Okay, and you can make use of your joysticks to move around. Now see, something is happening in this environment. Um, some jerk and the fire is happening. So now the user has to pick up the fire extinguisher and set off the fire. Yes. So this kind of training can be provided. It's a fire safety training model that has been developed. Okay. So here the thing is, in order to make the users more engaged, what we can do is we can set up some timings. Okay, within this time the fire has to be set down like that. So we have to adopt some gaming principles and feedback loop so that it will become more engaging and motivating to get the training. Okay, so this is one kind of gamification application that has been developed for fire safety model. So training the use of fire extinguisher. The other one which we tried is using the gun, okay, firearm, okay. So it is for defense or military purpose. How to use a firearm? That is even this cannot be given a training for the normal people, right? So it has to be. So in order to make everyone to get experience of how to use a gun, so they developed this model. So again, it comes with the 3D modeling, okay? Because the gun is object which is going to be interacted. So this has to be developed. Other assets are taken from the existing platform. So this gun is being developed and the texturing is done. Okay, once it is the asset is created, then the scene creation and all these steps are followed. And this is done using Unreal Engine. So here we have a again start in the quick game, and this is a scene that is being created. Okay, it's a military scene that is being created where you can interact with the gun to target the objects that is coming forward to you. So this is a, I mean, head-mounted display. So you have a screen behind you. Okay, the system, the laptop system, we have the program running, application running, and this is joysticks that comes with the Oculus Rift where you can interact with that object. So this is a system setup. Okay, I'll show you how this works using a video. So here, see, this is the environment that is being created. So initially the player scored zero and the target object is coming. So the aim is to shoot the target object in order to make it disappear. Okay. So this gaming platform is developed. Okay. See, in the normal ordinary games, will not focus about the usage of objects and so on, right? We just have a gun, and if you click that, it will shoot it. But in order to make it more, give a gamification kind of approach, you have to think of the object which is being used in the environment, which kind of training you have to give for that particular environment, and based upon that, you have to create your assets through which you will interact with that, and the asset which you create should be more realistic so that the user experience should give him more realistic feeling about that training. Okay, so that is more important. So this gamification, initially the objects were coming slowly, but as the game moves on, okay, there will be more targets coming, and shooting up each target will give you more score. So this is a kind of gamification to train a firearm training. Okay, that this is one of the application that has been developed. Yes. Okay. Then moving on to AR applications. So this is one of my research project. It's my PhD research project that is applying augmented reality for rehabilitation. That is for training the patient who is affected by stroke. Okay. So those who have the upper limb, that is hands disability, then they can make use of the simulated environment to practice or do their exercising using this simulated environment. So that is the aim of this project. Okay. Yeah. So so this kind of after stroke, post stroke, the user needs a extreme training in order to recover from that. Within a short period of time, he has to recover. That is, within 1 to 3 months after stroke, he has to do some regular training in order to get improved motor recovery. Otherwise, that recovery will not come. Okay, in the later part, and it involves physiotherapy. Involvement in order to get training, but most of the cases what happens due to lack of therapists and facilities, so will not have for next 3 months or 6 months will not have the training, right? So this is one solution that is proposed to have a single system, laptop system with the simulated environment and the AR environment where the user can perform a training and remote assistance can be provided. Okay, yeah. So the main aim is to develop a AR NUI, that is AR-based natural user interface mobile rehabilitation with mobile decision support system for therapists as well. So it has two systems like patient subsystem where the patients can do the exercise at their home. Okay, and the device which is involved in here is Microsoft Kinect, which comes with the Xbox One sensor. So it is a this device have the IR sensor and depth sensor in it, which can track the user uh, movements. Okay, it has a motion controller, and also it will track the patient skeletal tracking is available. So it can guide the patients to do exercise in the correct manner, and also it will provide a feedback to the patient to do it in the right way. And all everything will be recorded, is recorded, and this is monitored, and this using a performance monitoring system, and all these data is stored in cloud, and using this cloud, that is patient rehabilitation database, we have developed a mobile decision support system. Okay, which will uh, which will give performance of the patient uh, in terms of mobile app to the therapist, and therapist can interact with the patient remotely based upon the performance of the patient. So this is a system that's been developed. Okay, so this is Microsoft Kinect. So I developed three exercise scenarios. So since the stroke patients will have the difficulty in moving their hands itself, so we need to concentrate on simple movements as well. So reaching and touching an object itself, it's difficult for them. So reaching and touching an object is one of the first gaming scenario. The second scenario is grasping, holding, and releasing an object. The third one is the eating behavior. So all these related to the activities of daily living. Yes. So these are the three scenarios that is being developed. The one is it is an augmented reality. So it is not fully immersive environment like virtual reality. In augmented reality, what happens? Your virtual objects will be blended into the real time environment. The patient will feel the real environment in which the objects are surrounded with that. So patient, the user can interact with the objects. Okay, using his hands, legs, and physical body movements. So now the first scenario is reach and touch, where some objects will be dispersed around the patient, and now the patient has to move his hand towards the object, reach the object, and touch the objects in order to make it disappear. So this is one of the so based upon the and it will give you the score based upon your movements, and also it will give you audio visual feedback on it. The second scenario is holding and releasing the object into the right place. Okay, there is a box in the middle, and you have to pick up the objects that is surrounded, and you have to hold that object and release the object correctly, perfectly into the box. So for each object released correctly, you will get a score. Okay, and this all these things have a repetition count. Okay, so because the stroke patients or any patient, that is rehabilitation patient, has to do a particular kind of exercises, the different repetition counts. Okay, so this is controlled by the repetition count. Okay, if the person wants to do the same exercises for 10 times, then it has to the repetition count will be set according to that. Okay, this is a eating scenario where a table with a bunch of fruits is kept in before the patient. Now the patient has to go to to reach the fruit, and then take the fruit, hold it, and move the fruit towards his mouth. Only then the fruit will get disappear. So this is one kind of scenario that has been developed to enhance the eating behavior of the patient. So all these, while the patient is doing this kind of exercises at home, all the things will be recorded at the background, and this performance will be evaluated later and given as a input to the uh, what is it, therapist, using the mobile decision support systems. Okay, so just I want to give you some idea about it. I don't want to go deep into the application, but this kind of application is possible. Okay. So the other one which we developed is simple AR shopping, where the shopping can be enhanced. This marketing and shopping sales can be enhanced using augmented reality. So here we have online shopping and offline shopping as well, right? So in In offline, I'll show you. We have retail and online shopping. Okay. So these are the techniques that is used to enhance the retail shopping techniques. Okay. So one of the techniques is that it's called as in-store navigation. So you can provide a AR-based navigation technique where your mobile can augment things and show where the items are available and so on. So it's in-store navigation, and then it is called as in-store AR magic mirror for screens, where you can see the screens and your objects which you are looking will get augmented. Okay, and then the in-store signage or cloud-based query, like if you want to view the product details, okay, more details about that specification, then just scanning a particular signage on the product, it will show you the augmented view of the product and also its details specifications. Then you have visual counters where you can try dressing, makeup, okay, just using the VR or AR mirrors, you can just try up your how you look when you make the dress or when you put that makeup, how you look. Okay, so so if it's possible to do that, then it is possible for you to make a try and buy your things, right? So this kind of enhancement can be done using AR techniques, AR and VR techniques to enhance the retail shopping. Okay, the online shopping, what happens is that, so now nowadays we are getting online shopping systems where you can explore the object to be placed in a particular location and see how the object fits into your location. So that kind of applications we can try it out. Okay, so if I want to buy a flower pot and that has to fit my dressing, I mean bedroom, then I can click on that object. Okay, click on that flower vase and I can see how it fits my dressing room, or what is it, bed, or what is it, whatever it is. So after looking at that, then I can choose a suitable one which I wish. Okay, so this kind of that is blending the virtual object in the real environment can be done before we make the shopping. So this kind of shopping techniques are already being used in various furniture shops. Okay, at abroad. And also we can explore the paintings. Okay, so painting, home decors, so those kind of areas we can apply AR, that is augmented reality based technology, to enhance our marketing and sales. And finally, we are working now on the AR based restaurant, so where we can adopt this AR technique in the restaurant application by creating AR based menu cards, and also see here. So we have a menu card, and so simply showing the menu card to, instead of simply showing the menu card to the user, you can what we can do is we can make a AR based menu cards where when the user scans the menu card using his mobile phone, it will create a 3D model of it. Okay, where the user can explore the food items and its ingredients, so that will be displayed so that he can order, he can view how the food looks like and then order. And this is a technique, it's called as AR food visualization on the table. So during the wait time of the customer, what the customers can do is he can just play on the table, as we have seen a gamification application like pizza designing. So here the users can play, can place a plate, and he can click on the food items he need, and he can place it on the plates and he can play with that. So this kind of simulation environment, I mean AR based uh, what is it, gamification can be applied in the restaurants to enhance the customer incoming to our restaurants, right? So this is our kind of solutions we are providing. So we can think of more and more. And also, before a month, I got an opportunity to explore an agricultural, Coimbatore Agricultural College, where they are using AR technology to make their trainings for plowing, yes, for gardening kind of things. So this kind of so everywhere in every place where human reality is not. possible or feasible, then you can go with a simulated environment with a lesser cost and you can implement things. Yes, using AR and VR. So that is what it's been proposed and now it's being trending. Yes. So with this, I'm completing my presentation. I hope you have got some idea about this gamification concept and also using AR VR in terms of gamification and few application ideas, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Participants, if you have any queries, kindly post in the chat box.
If you have any queries or if you want to know more about it, then you could contact me. You can ask now as well. Yes, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, yeah,
Hope participants don't have any queries.
okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for describing the gamification in the real world by using AR and VR, ma'am. Once
Yes,
again, we thank you for sharing your treasured knowledge. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you so
Participants
much.
can join the validatory function by 2:30 p.m. sharp. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes.